Everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Knight-Kucharski?
Present.
Trustee Suisse?
Present.
Trustee Rogers?
Present.
Trustee Caprio?
Present.
Trustee Barian will be late.
I know
I don't
he
see
didn't say
him.
he's not coming.
Mayor Yudovich?
I'm present. Come on, just move down.
Sure.
Okay, are there any amendments to the agenda? The only thing I would like to do is move number 6 to number 1. He has some previous engagement that we've got to get into, so it should only take a couple seconds. Yeah, what's count on the amendment change?
I second.
A second.
Okay.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so we'll go to approval of the minutes for June 8th, 2016. I need a motion to approve the minutes of June 8th, 2016 Village Board meeting.
I so move.
Mr. Caprio
I'll second.
and Trustee Suisse. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of June 20th, 2016 Village Board meeting?
I so move.
Trustee Suisse.
A second.
Trustee Caprio. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Schedule of accounts payable. Is there a motion to approve the accounts payable for the period of June 22nd, 2016 through July 23rd, 2016? No motion?
So moved.
Trustee Varian?
I'll second.
Trustee Suisse. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Suisse?
Aye.
Trustee Knight-Kucharski?
Aye.
Trustee Barian?
Aye.
Okay. Next will be reports and communications from the mayor and other officers. I'll start out. With a heavy heart, I want to inform the residents and the businesses of Homer Glen of the passing of former village clerk Gail Scarbutin. Gail was one of the village's founding fathers and served the village of Homer Glen as village clerk for nearly 12 years. Gail loved her position as clerk for the Homer Glen and was instrumental in helping create and organize the Homer Community Festival. Gail was proud of the village and its business community. She willingly helped owners obtain permits and licensing needed to become valuable members of the village's business community. Gail was well respected by members of the business community. Gail was also a very caring woman who gave so much of herself to the village and residents and to the business community. Always willing to go above and beyond to help anyone who came to resolve issues. Our prayers go out to Gail Scarbutin, her husband Skip Scarbutin, and her entire family. Gail will be missed very much. And if I could have everyone bow their heads for a moment of silence, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. New Village Hall update. Village staff moved into the new Village Hall last Thursday, July 14th, and Friday, July 15th. The community room and boardroom are nearly complete. The next regularly scheduled village board meeting will take place in the new boardroom on Wednesday, August 10th. Our new address is 14240 West 151st Street. The phone numbers for the administration and building department stayed the same. Night Out for Safety, Homer Township Fire District. On Tuesday, August 2nd from 6 to 8 p.m., join the Homer Township Fire Department for a night of safety fun. There will be safety demonstrations, a fire simulator, safety giveaways, vehicle extrication, and more. The event will take place at 16050 South Cedar Road. So please visit www.homerfire.org for more information. And for at least a little bit of smile on everyone's face, we should offer Trustee Costa happy birthday today. He's not here, so we just got to say it, otherwise he missed today. Okay, we'll go to the trustees, and we will start with Trustee Berry.
No report this evening, Mayor.
Thank you, Trustee. We'll go to Trustee Netsky.
I have nothing to report.
Thank you. Trustee Rogers.
I just wanted to mention that tomorrow, HTRO is having a food drive for the Lockport Food Pantry at Conos between 6 and 8:30. So any participation that you could donate would be appreciated. It's part of the HTRO, but obviously our goal is to get some food into the food pantry in the middle of summer.
Thank
That's
you,
all.
Trustee Rogers. Trustee Suisse.
Thank you, Mayor. Reporting for the Environment Committee, I'd just like to remind everyone to mark your calendars for the village's next household hazardous waste event on Saturday, September 24th, from 8 to 3 p.m. in the village's parking lot at 14240 West 151st Street. This event is for Will County residents, and for additional information, please visit the willcountygreen.com website or call 815-727-8834. Our next stargazing event will take place on Friday, October 7th, from 8 to 10 p.m. at the Trantina Farm, located at 15744 West 151st Street. Just a quick reminder from the Homer Harvest Days Committee that on September 10 and 11 at the Trantina Farm, the Homer Harvest Days will take place. This is an annual event hosted by the Village of Homer Glen and Homer Township. Features good food, live music, old-fashioned entertainment, games, children's activities, living history, a petting zoo, pony rides, antique tractors, hay rides, and craft vendors. We will also have some new and unique demonstrations as well. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Suisse. Trustee Caprio.
Nothing to report.
Thank you. Village Treasurer.
Thank you, Mayor. I have the Treasurer's Report of Cash and Investments at June 30th, 2016. It's the second month of fiscal 17. It shows the general fund with a cash and investment balance of $5,056,227.08. The special event fund had a balance of $58,513.66. The environmental fund had a balance of $57,053.51. The motor fuel tax fund had a balance of $2,485,582.74. Park and Recreation Fund had a cash and investment balance of $2,508,123.34. The Debt Service Fund had a balance of $1,460,267.90. The Capital Project Fund had a balance of $2,356,989.66. The EAB Tree Replacement Fund had a balance of $455,532.37. And the last fund, Capital Project Bond Fund, had a balance of $15,100,642.66 for a grand total, all funds, $29,538,932.92. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, John. Does anyone have any questions for John? Okay.
Can I ask this question from the floor?
No,
No.
not right now. We'll get back to it.
I wondered where we put the money in. So.
Okay, Village Clerk.
No report.
Village Attorney.
No report, Your Honor.
Public Safety Officials. Report. Village Manager.
No report.
Thank you. Next will be public comment. If you could please keep it to 3 minutes, we would appreciate it. First will be Dennis Gerwig.
Thank you. Back again, same issue. It was 2 weeks ago that I addressed you guys and spoke about the amount of speeding on Derby Lane, which is, that's an old topic now. And the unusually heavy observations being taken at the corner of Derby and Chestnut. That was on Wednesday. The next day, Thursday, the Village Road guy, that was DeVivo, he put the tracking devices on Derby Lane, which was good. It's got 3 sets out there, that was good. And then Friday afternoon, as I was relaxing, frankly having a beer, sitting in a lounge chair on my driveway, watching speeders go by and over these tracking devices, and they were speeding, I got a phone call. And from a guy that I know really well. And he says, I just got a ticket for running the stop sign at Chestnut and Derby. And I said, well, I've told you and your brothers many times that they're out there. I said, did you come to a complete stop? And he said, no. I said, so you rolled through? And he says, yeah. I says, then you deserve the ticket. And my son did deserve the ticket. Yeah. And I told him, and if I would have gone through at 3 miles an hour over, or 4 miles, whatever it was, I would have deserved the ticket too, and I wouldn't have argued about it because the cop was doing his job. Okay? That's commendable. But in the meantime, zoom, 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 down Derby Lane. We need to do something about that fast. Going through a stop sign at 3 miles an hour, that's not a threat to anybody. I don't think there's any study that would show that it is. We need to do something quickly on the Derby Lane speeding and the other streets in the community as well. And I got to tell you, I don't think we have enough police out there. I've said this before. I'm all for getting our own police department. If you examine it and look at it closely, there are ways of doing it, even if it involves a municipal tax, which it probably would. I don't care. We need more police on the street. There's too much speeding going on in our community and other communities as well. That's it. Thank you very much. Oh, by the way, they picked up the tracking devices last Thursday morning, so they were down there for about a week. Then there was a slight pause, and I noticed today that they're back down again in the same places that they had them, 2 weeks ago. And I was just awful curious as to why that's not been done in this town before. Not that close together. So now we're on our 5th traffic study. How many does it take before we do the results that we're looking for? Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dennis. George, did you want to talk, or you just signed that?
Well, pretty much it's all the same as last time, but if anybody got any questions, I'd be glad to answer them. We're hoping to start this.
We'll bring it up in a minute.
Okay.
John Coy?
On my way here, I was going to just check out because I had asked that we get that intersection on Derby where the bike path crosses it, because there were 5-6 foot weeds growing there and you can't see the kids when they come. Somebody did take care of that. I don't know, Mike's not here, so I can't ask him if it was his crew or who it was. Somebody did cut it down, and I was sitting here talking to the lady back here, and she's got a couple pictures, and she lives right across the street from that mess over there. But I went around, and I went to the next street south that bisects that bike path. Within 8 feet or 10 feet from that bike path all the way out to the street is weeds, 6 foot, 5, 6, some of it might even be taller than that. I mean, it's totally ridiculous. You cannot even see that path other than a little, triangle of a bike. I mean, some drivers don't pay attention to these signs. And that stuff, it's like a line of sight when you're in a car. You can't see these kids on these bikes when they're coming across these streets. Why don't we have somebody that will go check that out maybe a couple times during the course of the summer before somebody gets hurt with speeders. And if we bought those speed bumps, what's the problem with installing them? Instead of waiting and more, well, we gotta run another test, or we gotta do, you know, hey, we approved it, let's install them and have it over with, all right? Other than that, take a look, send somebody out, Partridge and the bike trail. And they'll see that this is unacceptable what they have. That's even worse than the other spot was. And like I say, somebody cut it within the last day or so. Within the last probably day or two.
Yeah, is this on 143rd Street?
No.
So it's deeper into the...
Right. Partridge is like the second street. It's not that readily driven, but I mean, the weeds are up to the backside of that curb, and they cut 10 feet from the bike path. But by the time, if you go there or send somebody there, they'll take one look and say, whoa, this is terrible. I mean, and it is. Somebody can really get hurt there.
We'll send Mr. Baker over up there tomorrow to
All right.
All right, if he's cut, it's done.
All right. I have another thing, which is probably something I shouldn't bring up to the board, but it's on my mind because it kind of aggravates me. There's a person that I've talked to in the village that's having trouble with his water turning brown. And who would I contact other than somebody, the health department or something, about trying to find out why?
Is he on well or Chicago?
He's paying, let's put it this way, he's paying for Illinois American Water.
All right, then what you need to do is, you can call the health department, they will have the water checked, or there's companies, and we can get you the name and address for it. You sit, they send a sample in, and they tell you what's in it. And then if there's something that's coming out of the ground that's brown, it shouldn't be, someone needs to also call.
He said he took a sample of it, and then with that, he put it in the kitchen and put the lid on, and the next day the lid popped off. He says, now something's in that water that shouldn't be in there to do that. Water don't build up pressure overnight.
You know what, ask this gentleman to give me a call tomorrow.
All right.
All right?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Gina Kazmierzik.
Hi, my name is Gina. We ended up buying my house from my parents, so I have lived there since I'm 6 years old. I am on Derby where Dennis is talking about the speeding is horrible. My kids will yell at cars to stop or slow down and everything. We have been flipped off, everything, sworn at, everything. Now we have the problem of the weeds in the field. ComEd used to cut it, they refused to do it. My kids are in the pictures. My son's over 6 foot and the weeds are taller than him. I had a graduation party, and when I had a few people comment about the weeds, I was very embarrassed to live in Homer Glen. They won't cut 143rd back, but they cut across the street on 143rd South. So that's what I look out my front door at, and it's not a pretty sight.
Give us 1 second.
Okay, that's fine.
Let everyone take a look at this. Who's responsible for the cutting of the ComEd lines?
That's got
Do they mow at all?
No.
Not any time throughout the year?
No, and so our house is right here. Next to us is the Illinois Water Treatment Road, and then there's the field on our side. My husband goes out there and cuts it on his own time, his money, this and that, because we have dogs, there's fleas, ticks, all that, and mosquitoes for us. Across the street, nobody cuts that.
Mrs. Taylor, did they do it in the past?
Yes, they used to do it all the time. And like, this is the one picture of the stop sign. That's the first time that they've cut a little more back. Usually you can't even see the stop sign when you're coming up the road for the bike path.
What we'll do is we will make a phone call tomorrow to ComEd,
Okay,
find
thank
out
you.
what the problem is and why they haven't been doing it, why they stopped doing it. Because as you said, they're the ones that are supposed to maintain it, and it also gives people an opportunity to hide there,
Right,
and it's dangerous.
right.
So we will make a phone call. If you could do me a favor, Joe, could you get a phone number? Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Real quick,
Oh, yeah.
is that a marshy area or is that dry when it's
No,
mowed?
It's dry. And then when they put in the bike path, they dug it down.
Sure.
But there's no water right there. Thank you.
Thank you. Frank Bujan?
Manager Yukich, Trustees. Okay. All right, Joe.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Hi. Is this working or do I have to touch it?
Yeah.
Frank Bujan, Hidden Valley Estates, 131 Hidden Valley Drive. I brought up some stuff. I've been talking to a lot of people about wood buying, and George and I talked a few months ago. They have to take care of the retention pond first for 35 homes. I don't know if that's been done yet or not.
We're still working on it.
Still working on it. Okay, when they get it done, a lot of people are saying, you know, why not keep it a golf course? So you can kind of read what he said here, but I'll read it out loud. Pardon me?
No, go ahead.
Proposal, Woodboyne Golf Course to be a municipal golf course and a park. How? 9 months golf course run by Village of Homer, 3 months of park in winter months, family sledding, cross-country skiing, and other family winter fun, making snowmen, etc. No snowmobiles, tear up the grass. Golf course plan open 9 months and it can be a money maker. One major advantage of a municipal course is no real estate taxes. I was at a wake a few months ago, and I don't want to mention the man's name, but he owns a big golf course there, and he says, I hate municipalities because they don't pay any real estate tax. So it's a pricing advantage right away. Business model is Chicago Park District. I started playing golf in Marquette Park probably before most of you were born, but anyway. Jackson Park, Wakeman, these are all run by the city. And you know, if you're gonna just have a park sit there and not be a moneymaker, it's a waste of our resources, our tax dollars. My opinion. Homer Glen residents, from young kids to seniors, can enjoy the game. Outdoors, fresh air, and good exercise. 2 pricing models. Residents get small discount. Here's what we gotta do though. Get the financial history from Ludwig for about the last 2 years, because he obviously, I know the tar pit and all that stuff, but Bert Cogill will go out of business over in Silver Lake. And we have to get some realistic financial projections needed to be prepared and analyzed by the board. I'm a CPA, I've done this all in my head already. And one of the things would really be good for the kids in the area, you could have caddies there. And I just talked to a friend of mine, there's a thing called Chip Evans Scholarship Fund. Anybody ever heard of Chip Evans Scholarship Fund? Pardon me?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I went to Notre Dame, okay, and they never had it back then. But I talked to a good friend of mine, and Notre Dame's kind of a chintzy school, even though I like it. I mean, they're money hungry. And I know. They got 2 kids last year. See, normally, like Northwestern, they have a dorm, you know, and they go there, they run the place, and they get free room, board, tuition. And a good friend of mine went to UI completely on a scholarship like that. And you know, with the cost of college today, you know, we're going to help a lot of kids. So Notre Dame's going from 2 to 24 kids. And all you have to do is caddy a couple years and take some, you don't have to be a genius or anything, but you know, just take a test or something, answer why you're doing. And I said to my friend Joe, I said, well, what about the Evans Scholarship Fund? You know, who funds all that? And he said, they do. I said, well, isn't that expensive? Because they got millions and millions of dollars. Chick Evans was a famous golfer, an amateur way back in the 20s. And I caddied at Beverly Country Club for 2 years, and I'm kind of a saver. I still have my woods I won is coming in under number 13 out of 300. And 11th, I still got Byron Nelson woods and irons because they're like.
How about Sam Snood?
He was okay too. So anyway, I've talked to a lot of people. I have a good friend who's a priest. He lives in Crestwood, Incarnation Parish. They always come over here, and the name of the group is the retired guys. We'll get there when we get there. And you know, he likes the golf course. The golf course, I won't go on and on because I like to talk to some people privately, but basically the business model, if the Chicago Park District to it, and you know, we're more efficient than Chicago, we know that. And there's a couple places out, I don't know, Cherry Hills it used to be. I think that's run by one of the other villages. And I know Worth has a place. I don't know if Worth's doing too good. Now the argument against it, oh, it's going to lose us money. Well, you hire a manager, and he's the guy in control. He works for the Park District, and he gets a bonus at the end of the year. He does all the hiring, all the decisions. You pay him good money, and you have the course open from 6 a.m. to 7 or 8 p.m. You can get a foursome going off every 10 minutes. You don't really need carts, but you can have them if you want. You don't really need gas carts. Just have the pull carts. And if you have the gas carts, I know the concern there would be the capital investment, but I would lease them, a capital lease. And I don't know why you couldn't have the course 9 months open. Then people, like I said, during the winter months, and they can walk around or bring their kids with sleds. You can have a little, I don't know if we have room in the new village for like a hot house or something where they sell hot chocolate and stuff like that. And don't even charge the people, even if, you know, let them just do that. But no snowmobiles, that would ruin the course. So I don't know if there's somebody I can talk to further about this to explore it, or what would be my next step, Mayor Dukic?
Well, let me run it past the trustees, see what they think. But when Mr. Ludwig was still in there and leaving, he said he wouldn't have been able to make it unless he was selling beer and wine.
And you don't want him to do that?
Well, no, we didn't. We weren't going to have a problem with it, but the village can't do that.
Oh, the village can't sell. Okay, so you don't have to do it. Marquette doesn't do it. How long did Mr. Ludwig own the place? About 20, 30 years?
I'm not quite sure the time.
Well, just to give you some insight, he wasn't a good businessman because he didn't survive, and I'm not being critical, but the fellow that owned Gas City gas stations, I went to high school, grade school with him. Bill went to his wake a few months ago. He was on top of the world, a billionaire, and he went under. But what I would say, run it 3 years. All you got to do is put flagpoles, and there's no big capital investment, and just have pull carts. No, you don't really need to have caddies available. I have a lot of great ideas about this. I'm kind of a CPA, but I'm a marketing guy too. And the business model, if you had a village, now forget the bear and the booze and stuff, that's not a big deal. The municipality could run it, there's no reason they can't. And the whole thing costs $3 million, am I right? The purchase price. And of course, land's a non-depreciation asset. You know, it's not like something you have to write off. It's good forever. And maybe get a few carts in the beginning, but I would just start slow. But I'd get a heck of a good manager. I could talk to Bert Cargill myself. I know Bert quite well, and get somebody that's an experienced person. And Mr. Ludwig was beaten down, you know, so he's not going to be the guy to do it. He's beaten down, he lost. And how old is the guy? I don't even know. 50s?
No, I would say closer to 70.
But that course has been there, what, 20, 30 years? Or?
Been there for a long time.
Yeah. Okay, well, let me talk to the trustees on the side sometime. I can throw out more ideas, and Heather and I have talked about it a little bit too, so
Okay.
thanks for your time.
All right, that's all for public comment. What we'll do is we are going to start out with 6. Is there a motion to grant an extension to the existing special use permit for plan development for Homer Glen Center Phase 1 and 2 for an additional 1-year period beginning on August 9, 2016 through and including August 9, 2017 for for certain real property located at 14101 West 143rd Street, SU. In Homer, Glen, Illinois. George Gatsis on behalf of Homer Town Plaza LLC. Applicant case number 0516 MS and case HG 0616S. Need a motion? Trustee Suisse.
Second.
Trustee Varian. Discussion?
Yes, I have several comments there.
Okay.
Homer Glen's Phase 1 was granted a special use in November 2005. Phase 2 was granted a special use in March 2008. Both special uses were extended by the village board in 09, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 2015, 16, and now they want 2017. This chapter needs to close and open again when proof of a loan has been secured and engineering plans are in place, because it's almost making our zoning laws become a joke. That's all I have to say right now, because this process might take another half dozen years. We don't know that.
Anyone else?
Could we have Mr. Getzis?
Gatsis, could you go up to?
Do you want me to respond to that? Yes. Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor, Village Board. Well, as you know, the economy wasn't doing good since 2008. Everything went downhill. Everybody lost everything. I still have my property. I still have everything over there. Obviously, it cost a fortune to keep this thing going. But we are in the process of doing something, finally. I've got a partner that wants to come in on the one plaza, the Homer Town Plaza, which is the small plaza. And I do have financing approved with the Standard Bank, Terry Hackett. I don't know if anybody knows Terry Hackett. And we were going to do a 10,000 square foot one floor building there, but we're going to go ahead with the 20,000, and they're hoping to start construction because Chris Supta has the plaza on 171 and 127 and Derby Road. That plaza over there where he has some, he's got everything rented over there. He's got tenants for me, and I have other tenants. We have doctors, we have I mean, we've got them all ready to go. We have the Dunkin' Donuts. The thing is, they want to wait to, right now we were going to start as soon as possible, but they want to see what happens with the election. I don't see what the big deal is with that, but they want to see what happens with the economy, because the economy still isn't what it is. I mean, obviously things aren't moving like they should. I know there's some construction on homes, but as far as commercial, it's not going that well. And I know 159th is scheduled for a lot of commercial, but we're going to need this last extension, another extension, so we can get started at least by November and get everything ready by the spring, because we have the tenants. And according to Terry, if we've got 80% rented, he said 75, but I've got over 80% right now. He says that there's no problem with the loan. And then we'll start with the Homer Town Plaza first, get everything rented, and then we'll do the Homer Glen Center Phase 2 on the corner, which is a 20,000 square, which is a 35,000 square foot building. We're gonna do the smaller one first. And I'm just hoping to get this thing done. I mean, I wanted to move on this thing a long time ago, but you really can't rent store, if the tenants aren't gonna be there. I mean, I don't wanna build a building and then lose everything. You know, the economy's still not what it was, but they're saying it's improving, so it's gonna improve. And I guess depending on who gets in this year, maybe the economy's gonna start moving again, better than what it was. But if you, I mean, if you grant this extension, I mean, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. I mean, I wanna do this. I've been doing this, I've got a lot invested in it. This ain't peanuts for me, so I just don't wanna let it drop. We have to finish, I have to finish this.
When did you, because as of June 16th, you definitely said you did not have the financial ability to proceed.
Right, because the bank wanted, well, that's why I got a partner in now too, but the bank wanted enough tenants in order to get construction started, otherwise they weren't gonna give a loan.
Mr. Gates, do you have signed LOIs?
Pardon me?
Do you have signed LOIs that you've presented to the bank?
They've got some, they know who the tenants are, because Chris Supta has has a lot of the tenants in his building. They want to come over to 143rd, closer to the expressway, 355. We have doctors and a chiropractor, and I've got the Double Yoke Restaurant that's over on Route 30 and just west of Wolf Road. Archie Theodoro, and he wants 5,000 square feet, and he wants to put the restaurant in there. So he's gonna take care of all the build-out, everything inside the place, so, I mean, we're pretty well ready to go.
Well, ingress egress though, that's 143rd Street, it's one lane west and east and west, one lane either way. The
Right.
ingress egress is gonna be tight there for all those type of tenants.
Oh, well, we've got everything with
You got the
turning lanes and all that, we've got all that in there. I mean, we had the engineers working on this thing, and they're pretty expensive. I mean, we had this done a long time ago, you know, so.
See, and that's why this is going to still be delayed for a while, because because you're not going to be paying a ton for those turning lanes. That's why the church didn't want to go in there. So it'll be a few more years down the road, because if 143rd gets widened, that's probably what you're gonna wait for, right?
No, I mean, ours is in our cost already. The sewer water, I've got the pipe sitting out there. They've been sitting out there since 2008. The sewer
Right.
water pipe. I mean, it's $160,000 worth of pipe
The
sitting
sewer
out
and
there.
water is not coming down that way.
I'm the one that's putting it in. And I've got everything recorded already. Illinois American has everything signed off on it. It's all recorded. Whatever property owners, I paid for the rights to get that 20 foot to get the sewer and water in. So everybody's ready to go. And then I got the fees for the tap-on fees. Once somebody else constructs or anything, I've got the tap-on fees. But I'm the one that has to put it in as part of my construction loan, which is over $500,000.
Would you foresee a problem if we asked this to be the last extension?
Well, we did that in 2013.
Well, I wasn't approved then, but right now we're ready to move. The economy, we're hoping, come on, the economy's been like this for the last 9 years now. I'm hoping the economy gets better.
Well, I was just asking if you had any hindsight if a year would be enough, or if you would need 2 years, or...
What we're hoping for right now is to get construction started, not completed this year, but completed by the spring. If we get that going, I think the year is gonna be enough.
I have one more. Do you have a commitment letter from Standard Bank?
No, but, I mean, I've got it on email.
No, the only reason, no, I don't need to see it.
I've
I'm
got
just
it.
asking if you have the commitment, because those are
Yeah.
only good for so long.
You could, yeah, Terry Hackett, no, I'm ready, we're ready to go, especially getting somebody else in, because when I started this 10 years ago, I mean, I'm still a working attorney, you know, and I'm still working, but I'm on Social Security now too. And they kind of took that in consideration. They're saying, hey, you know, you're 70 years old now, you're gonna, you need to get these tenants in here.
Well, yeah, they typically only give you 30, 60, 90 days on commitments, but maybe you have a better relationship with them.
Yeah, I got a good relationship with Terry. And I've got also Fifth Third Bank that's willing to give me the loan too. So, but it's for only the one building, the smaller building. So, I mean, I put a lot into this thing. I've got years into it. I got too much into it.
What if, you said you have a secured loan, why don't we table this until we get, you know, something substantial to do the extensions?
Well, the
Because
thing is, if it's not approved,
I thought you said it was approved.
no, I'm saying you, the board, has to approve, it has to be approved. Then how am I gonna get the people in there? How am I gonna get the?
No, you said you already have the loan secured.
Well, I will get the loan secured. I have somebody interested to come in with me on that one plaza, the Homer Town Plaza, not the Homer Glen Center. And the tenants, and they want to be sure that the building's gonna go up. I can't, it has to be approved in order for this to happen.
And how many days do you have to take action as
Oh,
trustee?
we don't count the days. We were talking the year. We were talking the year all the way to, what is it, next September, August?
August 17th of 2017.
August 9th or
August
17th?
9th.
Are you saying you're going from 20 to 10?
Pardon me?
Are you going from 20,000 to 10,000?
No, we're gonna keep it at 20 because I have enough, we're gonna have enough
The
tenants.
packet says opposite of that.
From 20 to 10.
And then the packet talks about putting in a private well and septic, and he's saying he already has sewer and water lined up, so.
Yeah, we've got all that lined up, but I have the option to do that other one too, but we're not gonna do that. I wanna do the sewer and water and get that in.
Director Schwartz, can you maybe talk to the discrepancy here?
Yeah, we basically have the same request letter from Mr. Gatsis that we received last year, requesting a one-year extension. And the bottom, the staff memo is based on the bottom portion of that letter from him, indicating that's exactly verbatim, the same request as last year.
Right.
And so we indicated, basically all we're doing is extending the dates another calendar year to August 9th of 2017. But yeah, that's accurate. That's accurate based on the letter that he provided us.
I mean, it would be beneficial for me and also beneficial for Homer Glen if I can get this thing going.
I just want to make sure we're all talking about the same thing, because my packet is telling me that you're looking to go from
Down
20 to 10, and you're telling me the opposite. My packet's telling me well and septic, you're telling me the opposite. So there's
Well,
just some
I
confusion here, and I'm not comfortable.
As long as I got
unless
the
I know black
loan-
and white, no gray.
As long as I have the loan for the sewer and water in our loan, and we've got the pipe paid for, everything's there, everything's ready to go on that, we're gonna keep it that way with the sewer and water. But I wanted the option of, obviously, the economy was a lot worse last year and the year before, but it still looks the same to me, to get the, to do the well and septic and put a smaller plaza in there.
One thing I'll mention is this is a planned development, and so just as he indicated last year, this is literally the same letter from last year with the date change. As he indicated at the bottom of the letter from last year, that the Homer Town Plaza may be reduced from 20,000 to 10,000 with well and septic, so on and so forth, depending on financing. It would have to be an amendment to the plan development, so it would have to come back through to you guys, to the planning commission potentially as well.
Right, but we're gonna leave it right now.
So for right now, he has the right, if you extend this another year, he has the right to build the plans that were previously approved, period. If he wants to reduce the building, change the layout of the building, change the parking, they would come back through an amendment process, likely through planning commission as well as the board.
Mike, right now, the plan is 20,000 square foot with public sewer
And water.
Yes.
Right? The letter says may seek to modify those two things, right? But currently it's planned sewer and water, 20,000 square foot.
Yes.
So we would have to come back to us to change it down to 10,000
Sure.
and bring it back down to septic and
Sure.
well.
Anything different from the plan that was previously approved prior to even my tenure here, back in whatever when it was approved, 08, I believe, was the last approval. Those set of plans are what he's authorized to build if you extend.
I guess, Mr. Gottis, my comments on this would be, I think you'd agree that it's been a fairly unique situation to continue to do these one-year extensions, right? This is not the normal way for us to do business.
I know.
That has been, and this certainly predates me, but that has been, I think, an effort on the part of the village to be pro-business, right? We want to see you be successful, get your money back out of that development and add to this town.
Right.
The annual extensions going back, starting in '05, but the annual extensions going from 2009 on is a unique thing, right?
Right.
I think
We all
my
know
view
that.
on this is,
And we all know that's because of the economy.
sure, and we've been mindful of that,
The
right?
bank that I originally had, Washington Savings, went bankrupt. They went under.
We've been mindful of that, absolutely. I guess my position on this would be at some point,
And I paid the $24,000 in 2008, the building permit. When we started this thing, when the bank went under, they stopped my project.
Sure. I would say that I would vote for a one-year extension. This would be my last vote for that. After that point, it doesn't mean that you cannot, and I know we've done this before, and I certainly respect trustee Suisse's position on that.
No, I understand.
I would just say that my own vote would be, and I would have this reflected in the minutes, that it would be for 1 more year. After that, as you know, it doesn't mean that you can't come back and still have, you're just gonna have to come back and go through the process again.
Well, and if that's the case, I'll have whatever I need. If that happens, that I do need another one.
Sure.
I'll have everything documented, who's coming in, what's going on, and I'll have that all, and then you can see that. But we should be okay this year.
Right, we want you to succeed. We understand the economy. We want to be business friendly. The commitment from the bank isn't a commitment until it's in writing, you know
Well, that's
that,
true.
right?
Not just that, until you get the money. The other one went bankrupt. So.
Yeah, so that's my position on this, Mayor. I would be okay with a 1 year, but I just want the minutes to reflect that this would be the final year for you know, if that was agreed upon, or at least.
Yeah, I can say because I believe that this was one of the plans, George, that you and I looked at when we were on planning committee 9 years ago. So, I mean, I did at some point think it was a great plan. You know, it's great for the community, things like that. I get leery when it's stretched out for so long that there's some dirt that's getting modified in there. But after Mike says, I feel like it's, you know, as solid as it was when I approved it 9 years ago. Nothing's really changed.
Yeah, nothing's changed, and I haven't done anything else. The only thing I've been doing is paying interest on that stuff. That's it.
Director Schwartz, I have a question. Since this originally started so long ago, some ordinances were not in effect at that time, or what happens? What happens, because that's another major concern? And that's why I wanted to start over.
And that's typically why there is a 1 year extension.
Only a one, right.
The 2008 approval, those engineering plans, that set of plans would be what he's authorized to build. So that was previously approved and has been extended. Of course, there may have been minor ordinance, you know, lighting probably would be a good example.
Right.
Materials.
Yeah, you know, those ordinances, we would have had a lighting ordinance at that time, but it may not have had the color temperature,
Right.
which was just added a couple of years ago. But it would have required shielded lighting. So that set of engineering plans.
Well, what was
Is on
phase
file.
one? Because phase one was even 3 years prior to that. What part is, you know, what is phase one, what is phase two? Because now we're going back so far, half of the ordinances, probably, we were very young at that point in time.
Yeah, I mean, you raise a good point. I mean, things do change, ordinances change, regulations change. But if you extend this, which you did last year, or the board did last year, he would be authorized to build what was authorized in 2008.
I believe we had gooseneck lighting, we had shielded lighting. I mean, it's been a long time since then, but I remember it was a nice plan. It had the gooseneck light, if I'm not mistaken, on the building. I've looked at a lot of plans between that time, but I believe it did. The only thing it would have, like he says, is the color.
And obviously, he went through engineering because he was already at the point of submitting a fee of $24,000
Right.
for the building permit.
Not only that, we had discussed at one of the meetings, legally, when the extension happens, it happens when it was first approved. That's why it's called an extension. And then everything else that I've had would have been grandfathered in. But everything to the point where it started in 2008 or 2009, when it started, when it was approved, that's the extension that goes on. So we had discussed that already.
The word grandfathered in isn't something that we like to hear.
No, I know, but
Or I don't. I should
well,
say.
usually it's only a year or two.
Right.
But because of the circumstances and the way the economy was, I mean, all the village boards all over, they're all pretty much doing the same thing with the extension. Once the builders went under, it didn't do anything.
I sympathize with you. Believe me, I do this for a living for 15 years. There'll be things all over the state of Illinois. So I'm
I mean, the longer we go on, the longer it costs me.
So
This ain't free. It's not like I got everything for nothing. I paid it all.
Just to clarify for the board, your decision this evening, if you extend it, if you pass the ordinance, he has another year to essentially continue with build the project per the plans that were previously approved, of course. Any changes to that would have to come back through a process. If you don't pass the ordinance and this then expires, his plan development, his special use permit would expire without this extension. he would have to essentially resubmit a zoning application, and then come, we have now a new updated lighting ordinance. There's things that would be on top of what he would probably have to tweak what he gave us in L.A., most likely, as far as the lighting is concerned. Other engineering issues probably wouldn't change very much. The location of the building, the entrances to the parking lot, none of that would really change.
Yeah, I concur with Trustee Burry, and I could see the one-year extension, and because Trustee Rogers has seen the plans before, my only concern with the lighting ordinance would be that this is a very residential area, understanding there's a lot of plantings, a lot of trees. I can see that. I'd love to see some action in the next 12 months, and maybe the commitment, and know that the bank is willing to give the money, the investors are really there, and
I mean, when we looked at this plan years ago, we took the residents into consideration in the back with that lighting and stuff, but I think it wasn't, it had some, we did look at all that.
okay, well, I trust
There
you
was
did.
no trees
Yeah,
there
yeah.
now.
I trust you did, that's why.
Okay, so Dr. Schwartz, if an extension is approved, how can we monitor the PUD to have it current? I know you said it's from 2008. Is there any way that, on condition this gets an extension, that all the ordinances that are in place at the time, if it's 10 years from now, the time this goes through?
Well, he's only seeking a one-year extension.
Right.
So what I'll throw out on the table as well, because of the point being made specifically, I think, about the lighting being updated as far as the color of the lighting.
Any others, right?
What I think, and this might be an attorney question, is that you could probably, as part of your motion here, make that a condition as far as the lighting is concerned. You're not basically changing the entire, his entire engineering submittal isn't going to change.
No.
It would be the sheet that shows the lights. And that way, at the time of permit, which he already applied for a permit, we would re-evaluate the building permit and look at the lighting to make sure that the color temperature. So I think you'd be safe making that a condition of the extension.
Mr. Gage, you have no problem with that?
No, I mean, the lighting's gonna be the lighting for everybody. It's not gonna be just for me, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
How
Okay.
can we do that? Yeah.
I think what you're going to say is that it'll be a motion to approve the ordinance, conditioned upon condition upon
meeting current village ordinances, building codes. It won't affect the site plan, but you want to meet current building codes.
with regard to lighting. I don't know if there's any.
Lighting and building codes.
We never received the actual building plans for the
Okay,
project.
perfect.
All right,
Thank you.
so we need to have a re-motion and second with the changes, so that would be Trustee Suisse would have to change the motion, and Trustee Berry and the fellow through and agree. So do you take your motion away?
I didn't make a motion.
Sure.
Well, you second it. Does he have to?
She starts off.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so you take your motion back?
Yes.
All right.
And so
Can I-
amended.
Can I just add one thing? I just want to make sure that the rest of the trustees, I don't want to totally convince you that I remember all of these plans, because again, it's 9 years ago. So I don't want you to make your decision based on my opinion or my recollection from 9 years ago. Because I know there was another one that we might have been looking at on Dixon, but I feel comfortable that it's this one, but please don't take that into consideration.
All right, so with that, Sharon, I need you to redo your motion. Do you want to have it read out?
Well, as is, but also upon condition
To meet the current building.
to meet
and lighting
current ordinances and building codes at the time of, well, you said he already has a permit, at the time of
He
permit.
does submittal.
Permit submittal.
He submitted an application, but no
It
plans.
hasn't been granted yet. so-
Reactivation of the building.
So conditional upon compliance with existing building codes and lighting codes.
Correct, and that's pretty standard. That's not an unusual process.
Okay. Brian, do you want to second it?
I will second that.
Okay. We've had the discussion, so Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers? Aye. Trustee Sweet?
No.
Trustee Barry?
Aye.
Trustee Mansky-Troggy?
Aye.
Motion carries. George, you got the one-year extension.
Okay, thank you, everybody. I will stick around, but have another meeting to run to.
No problem.
Thank you for taking me early, too. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, we go back to legislation and action item number 1 will be the moratorium on issuance of a video gaming license. So I need a motion to approve ordinance number 16-029, an ordinance establishing a temporary 120-day moratorium on the issuance of video gaming license effective immediately.
I so move.
Trustee Caprio,
I say it.
Trustee Suisse. Is there any discussion?
Can we just have a little discussion on why we're doing this?
What we're doing is, right now, we have steamers that have come before us, and they were looking for a liquor license and the ability to have the video gaming. What we had a couple of years ago is we had another company that came forward and wanted to put video gaming in there, and we turned it down because at the time the school had, they had a problem with the kids going inside the area, so they didn't want anything that close to the school. We adhered to it, but now the school just changed their requirements. No kid is allowed to leave the school parking lot. They either have to be picked up by a school bus or they have to be picked up by a parent. So the kids are no longer allowed in the area, and with that, we can have a video game there. So we want to make sure, because we've already told one company you can't, now we're telling another company we can, but things have changed with the school. We just want to make sure that we're doing this to where we're doing what we're supposed to do.
I think it isn't just steamers. I think you're looking at this. Anywhere that these are going on. Obviously, video gaming is becoming more prevalent, and obviously it gives you an opportunity to kind of pause, take a look at what's on the books right now. Do you need to amend it? Do you need to change anything? And gives you a little bit of breathing room to do that.
Yeah, and I would like to have some discussion with the school personally myself, because are you telling me that no kids are allowed to walk home from school anymore?
No.
They have to be on a bus or picked up by a parent.
So, and we can, it's part of the physical education.
You go back to
it. Superintendent. So, is there any other discussion?
Mayor, I just think on this issue, it's prudent to take a timeout, make sure we're dotting our i's, crossing our t's, and ensuring that this is something that is consistent across the board. I mean, you know, I've never been a big fan of the video gaming, but the cat's out of the bag, right? And it's statewide in most cases, and it's in this village, and I think it's a good opportunity to take a time out and make sure that we're going to apply this and not get caught with our pants down at some point on this.
I agree. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Mansky-Troggy?
Well, wait a minute, if we're postponing it, then.
We're making a motion to stop it for right now, till March we can discuss this. Just a moratorium on it. We're not approving anything for the video gaming.
Okay, aye.
Trustee Barry?
Aye.
Trustee Sweet?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers? Aye. Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Motion carries. 2, special use permit for Steamer's Hot Dogs. Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 16-026, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of a special use to permit the sale of alcohol beverages as an ancillary use to the permitted restaurant for certain real property located 15761 South Bell Road, Michael and Sherry Ropa, DBA Steamer's Restaurant, as recommended by the Plan Commission? I need a motion.
So moved.
Trustee Burien,
I'll second.
second trustee Mansky-Troggy. Any discussion?
I'm just curious, is family still running this?
Yeah.
Sons and you guys are there and just wondering.
Any other questions? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers? Aye. Trustee Sweet?
Aye.
Trustee Barry?
Aye.
Trustee Knight-Petrarca?
Aye.
Step one. Okay. Number 3, amending village code, increasing number of Class F liquor licenses. Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 16-027, an ordinance amending 83-68 of Homer Glen Code, increasing the number of Class F liquor licenses issued within the village of Homer Glen? It is understood the number of Class F licenses, beer and wine retail sale will increase by 1. Is it? Trustee Suisse?
I'll second.
Trustee Caprio. Madam Clerk, please call the roll. Or is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Rogers? Aye. Trustee Knight-Petrarca?
Aye.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Barry?
Aye.
Trustee Sweet?
Aye.
Okay, last one. Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 16-028, an ordinance assigning an available Class F liquor license, beer and wine retail sale to Michael and Sherry Ropa, DBA Steamers Hot Dogs, 15761 South Bell Road, located at 15761 South Bell Road, Homer Glen.
I so move.
Trustee Caprio.
I'll second.
Trustee Trey. Discussion?
Mayor, I would just say thank you for your patience on this. I know this has been tabled, and thank you for your patience.
As Trustee Barry has said before, we do want to be very business friendly. We just have to make sure that everything is done the way it's supposed to be done. So, call the roll.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers? Aye. Trustee Sweet?
Aye.
Trustee Barry? Trustee Barry?
Aye.
Trustee Knight-Petrarca?
Aye.
Motion approved. You're clear. You're set. Okay, so
I'll drop off the license tomorrow.
get all the-
I'll drop it off tomorrow.
Okay, and then we'll let you know where we're at with the other. Okay? All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are we done? Yep.
Did that
May I ask
be
one question?
Sure.
Because it was through somebody here that said we have to take the Bassett course,
Yes.
and I don't know how to start that.
I'll talk to you tomorrow when I drop off the license.
Anyone that's serving in Cassie.
Yes, oh, they're all gonna take it, yeah,
All right.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold these ones, so this will be
Okay.
more information for that. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Trustees, thank
Good
you
luck.
so much.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Thank you.
Number 5, TRIA Architectural Invoice. Is there a motion to approve TRIA Architectural's invoice for professional services related to the Village Hall renovation project in the total amount of $25,558.70? Motion?
I so move.
Trustee Suisse?
I'll second.
Second. Trustee Caprio? Any discussion?
This amount is all part of the original contract, correct?
Correct. We've been paying them as we go along for what's been done.
As a draw. I just
Correct.
wanted to have that on record.
Actually, I don't think it's technically true. I think there was a $90 charge and then a $3,000 charge that was part of ongoing. So I don't think that's a draw.
This one here for the 22,550,
It is.
it's supposed to be a draw. Did they throw a couple of the things that were?
Yeah. There was a thermal imaging camera that we
Okay.
used for some leaks in the ceiling and that. So it's not a, complete draw. There's about $3,500.
Okay. That was an add-on that we had because there were a few things that as they were going with the building, they did do they filmed all the sewers to make sure those were broken, if there's things there. They also did the HVAC, but I don't know, is that bill in this one? Okay.
Yep.
So, and then we're still gonna get a couple more because of the ceiling leaks that we had. So everything that they did above and beyond will come first. Are there any other questions? Okay, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Knight-Petrarca?
Aye.
Trustee Barry?
Aye.
Trustee Sweet?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers? Aye. Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Motion carries. 6 has been done. 7, is there a motion to consider for approval ordinance number 16-030, an ordinance amending the code of the village of Homer Glen, chapter 220, therefore entitled zoning, amending section 303 definitions and amending attachment 2, table 2A. Table 2, of permitted and special uses in a non-residential district, to add definitions and zoning regulations related to hookah bars, cafes, lounges, smoke shops, and smoking lounges, Village of Homer Glen. Applicant case number HG1611TA. Is there a motion?
I so move.
Trustee Turkey,
I'll second.
trustee Suisse, discussion. Just so everyone does know, this is not a hookah bar. It is not a smoke shop. It's not a lounge. It's not a cafe. It's not a bar. It is lounges for alcohol. This is strictly a cigar smoking lounge. They will sell cigars and you can go whenever you can smoke cigars.
This is just for the zoning.
This is only, this is for definitions,
But I mean,
right?
right, but I just want to make sure that they knew that the zoning, this is being excluded from.
But when you're saying, we're saying no hookah.
No hookah.
Right, that's what we're saying.
Right.
We're excluding that.
So, well, the smoking lounge is in there too, so we don't really have to worry about that. This is strictly the zoning, and zoning falls all under this category, but all this man wants is just a cigar shop.
This is not addressing
No,
any
it's not
any
addressing
application.
this, this is just
That's part
general
of the-
definitions.
Exactly, this is
Okay.
simply a text amendment to your zoning ordinance.
Right.
So, there's no other discussion.
Wait, no, yeah, there is. I want to be clear here. So because I guess I'm confused, because I'm getting a little bit confused because you're directing it towards one person, but in general, can you explain this in general, what this is meaning? In general, not any location, any specific person. In general, this means moving forward what?
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. One thing I just want to mention real briefly, as everyone was arriving, in your packet, the electronic packet that went out, I added tonight the paper copy that I handed out. One minor change, I mentioned on the cover sheet that there was discussion in a workshop setting on April 27th. And I gave you the minutes for that meeting, there was a brief paragraph on that. And then the ordinance, there was a change, one whereas was added to mention that meeting date. So just FYI for the record, the paper copy that you have is more up to date than what I emailed the other day. So minor change. This is basically changing two parts of the zoning ordinance. We're adding several definitions that are not there today. And we're updating the use table that says whether or not these types of uses are either a permitted use or a special use. That's really it. We're changing two parts of the zoning ordinance. And that will then address applications coming forward to you through the process. We're basically allowing, through the discussion we had at workshop and with the Plan Commission, we're adding, created two definitions, one for a retail type of smoke shop, which we have, in the village already, selling traditional and non-traditional or electronic cigarettes. Those would be permitted uses per the board's discussion previously. Those would be treated like any other retail use. No special approval needed. If you're going to have a shop, though, that has a sampling bar or anything like that, or even a standalone cigar lounge, would need a special use permit. We added at the Plan Commission's recommendation the definition, because I mentioned the term hookah in the exclusion, in the definition of a smoking lounge. They thought that term should be defined. So I also added the term hookah and hookah bar and hookah lounge so that you have, the zoning ordinance makes it clear that hookah type establishments are not permitted in the village. And we have another ordinance reference that is basically the possession ordinance, talks about hookah instruments being paraphernalia. So the village attorney has said we are in legal strong standing to exclude that type of a use, but still allow the other types of smoking, cigar lounges being an example.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Cabrio?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Sweet?
Aye.
Trustee Naturgy?
Aye.
Trustee Barry?
Aye. Motion carries. Last one. Menard Planned Unit Development Amendment. Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 16-031, an ordinance approving and amending to special use permit to grant major change to a plan developed approved by ordinance number 02032 granting 1, a variance to reduce the required parking, 2, a variance to waive the required exterior materials, 3, approval of the amended final development plan for certain real property located at 13956 South Bell Road, Homer, Glen, Illinois. Menard's case number HG 1614-S.
I so move.
Trustee Trojki, is there a second?
Second.
Second, trustee Durian. Discussion?
They are, just to, whatever, Menards is doing an extension where that open, where their garden center, or the open lumber yard area, is that enclosing that?
They're enclosing that. This is Tyler, the representative from Menards. They'll be enclosing that to increase sort of the climate control and security of that space for additional storage. And then they're also increasing the warehousing space to the very far north of the property.
Any other questions? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Sweet?
Aye.
Trustee Nesby-Chorky?
Aye.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Barry?
Aye. Motion carries. Is there any old business? Is there any new business? Need a motion to adjourn.
Motion made.
Trustee Trojki,
I'll second.
trustee Caprio, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.